Ms. Leonard, you have said earlier today that you do not dispute the report, I believe is your exact words, yet a couple times you've mentioned this was an isolated incident. From what we've heard today, this has been sort of a spring break frat party mentality for the last 15 years. Now, the adjudicative guidelines for determining eligibility for access to classified information, these are the considerations for whether or not someone is given a security clearance. Is that correct? Okay. Part of the guidelines covers conduct that reflects lack of judgment or a person's ability to protect classified information. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Are you aware of anyone who's ever been fired for breaching that?
Cartagena, the 3 agents, and we've had other agents throughout DA's history that have been
Did you ever have a role in someone losing their job because of the security breaches?
Cartagena.
Okay. Soliciting prostitutes, does that expose an agent to blackmail? Weren't some of those agents married?
I believe so.
You know what really even is to me is a more potent question. 2 weeks ago, we had the largest human trafficking event in North Carolina, brought members from 40 agencies across the state. Talked about the human trafficking specifically that drug cartels are involved with. 83% of those girls are from 12 to 14. So my question is this: having gratuitous sex with an underage prostitute, first of all, how egregious it is to even use that despicable language, but second of all, at what point does it become a security breach? You've mentioned the word appalled several times. Are you appalled with that?
Absolutely.
Well, how appalled do you have to be before you jump up and down and scream and holler and said, this cannot be tolerated?
The first incident that I had any dealings with in this manner or about this behavior was Cartagena, and I made sure that the disciplinary system, that there was coordination between the people that do the investigations and the people that do the security clearances, because I, like you, feel it is outrageous behavior, but there are security concerns. They have put themselves in danger. They have put other agents in danger. They have not
Sure they
protected.
have. But listen, there's no statute of limitations in our own countries for having sex with a 13 or 14-year-old. Why are you just telling me that, well, that was long ago, but picking up at this point on, we're trying to, I don't understand that. Can you help me understand it?
Well, I will say that the security clearances of all the people involved in the Bogota incident, the one person involved in 2009, those security clearances are currently under review by the Department of Justice.
Do you have any concrete proof of the age of these prostitutes that these men were involved with? Have you done any research on that at all? Is there any record that you've read?
I have read the reports, and there's nothing to indicate a name.
So maybe nobody ever even asked that question. Let me ask you something else. Last Friday, April 10th, the chairman referred to this a little bit earlier. 3 days before this hearing, the Attorney General had to send out a memo reminding law enforcement agents that they are not to solicit prostitutes. Are you familiar with that memo?
Yes, I am.
The problem with it, or else what? What happens? Just a reminder, I mean, first of all, the fact that we have to remind these agents to be on your best behavior is ludicrous. But the fact is, then what? Evidently, in the past, hey, you may take a couple of days off or even unpaid for 2 weeks at the most. Where's the or else in this? Would you answer that question? What happens? I mean, the Attorney General sent it out. So listen, hey, guys, leave the prostitutes alone. Or what else? Or what's the penalty? What's the concrete solution that has been clearly communicated? Can you explain that or talk about that?
Well, working within our system, in the same way the Attorney General put the entire Department of Justice on notice, last year, put the entire DEA workforce on notice that this type of behavior was not to be tolerated and that there would be significant discipline.
Well, I have 3 children, and I tell them, talk about sometimes not to do that, but unless the consequences are very clearly communicated, I don't have a shot that they're change the behavior. Last question, and I'll yield back. If you had a chance going back, would you be so appalled that you would do some things different in handling these matters?
Without a doubt.
Thank you. Yield back.